Welcome to CinePro, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. Our movie today is a fantasy action horror called Land Shark. Our movie begins with a man and his son sitting on the shore to fish. After a while, the fishing rod twitches and they catch something huge. They are very happy to have caught a big fish, but when they pull it in, they find it's a cow's head. Their joy is short-lived. They are shocked to have caught a cow's head after all that effort. At that moment, the boy sees something huge coming from afar. As it gets closer, they realize it's a massive shark. The shark jumps into the air all at once and passes over them, walks on land for a bit, and then returns to the water. They are astonished by what they have seen, unable to comprehend how the shark can walk on land like that. The scene then shifts, and we see the beginning of the story from 3 days ago. There was an underwater lab with many scientists and doctors working on a project. We see the head of the lab, who is responsible for this project, telling the investors that they are working on a cancer cure and that they will start testing it on the shark. This way, they can extract a lot of this substance. One of the investors says that this could be very harmful and dangerous, but the head of the lab assures them that he is very confident in his experiments. He then shows them his control device used to control the shark. In the same lab, we see a young man named Asina, who has extensive knowledge about sharks. The lab director asks Asina to call the shark. Asina hangs a dead fish on a hook and lowers it into the water. Then a big shark appears and starts eating the fish. Everyone standing is terrified when they see this scene. After that, the shark returns once again. Here, the lab director asks them to start the third phase of the project. A girl from the project team tells him that they haven't reached the test results yet, so starting the third phase early could be very dangerous. But the director doesn't care about anything she says and orders them to start the third phase immediately. After that, we see them preparing to transfer genes to the shark. They send a device from the lab to the shark. After the device reaches the shark, it injects it, causing a genetic transformation. The shark's nature changes. Until now, their experiment was successful. Everyone in the lab was happy that their experiment succeeded and they celebrated. But on the other side, the shark starts undergoing many changes. The secretary who opposed the director was standing next to the glass. Suddenly, the shark approached the lab glass, and when she saw it, she got scared and moved quickly. The director arrives and tells the secretary that he will take her little daughter outside, and she should catch up with them when she finishes her work. We see another doctor holding his phone, talking to his daughter via video, and suddenly the emergency alarms in the lab go off. The doctor quickly informs the people with him, and tension and anxiety begin to spread throughout the lab because the health index of the shark has decreased. They assured that the shark has died, but suddenly a shark attacks them from the tank hole. All of them are terrified from what they saw, and they close the tank quickly. They all don't understand what is happening or why the shark is attacking them. At this moment, the shark starts to break the glass, but they all reassure themselves that the shark won't be able to break the lab glass as it is bulletproof. But the surprise is that the shark starts hitting and hitting again and manages to break the glass with its strength. Because all this happened very quickly, none of them could do anything, and no one could control themselves, even as the water filled the lab and everyone in it drowned. The situation was very difficult for them. After a while, they floated to the surface of the water. Asina told them not to scream because it would attract the shark towards them, and told them to scream to open it. But the shark started moving towards the sound, and the boy managed to escape from the shark. A chubby guy named Monty ran to save him. Asina shot a tranquilizer from a rifle at the shark, but the bullet didn't hit, and the shark went to attack Monty. At the last moment, Asina jumped on the shark and injected it with the tranquilizer, and it passed out. After that, Asina, who has information about the shark, tells them his plan. He tells them they must leave this place immediately, but the others are terrified because they have to swim through the water, and the shark is still inside. It may wake up at any moment, but in any case, they have no other solution, so they must swim until they reach the door. But at that time, one of the girl's hands bleeds, and the shark wakes up when it smells her blood. The shark attacks the girl and kills her, and the others become even more terrified. The doctor, who was wearing glasses to save himself, threw another person in front of the shark, and they finally reached the door, but it was locked and wouldn't open. They looked at the ventilation system in the lab and decided to use it to get outside. Finally, they all got out, thinking they were finally safe and that there was no longer any danger. Suddenly, there was movement behind them, and the shark flew and landed on the ground. The girl was looking at the shark, very scared, and ran inside the game, but the shark broke it and chased after the girl to eat her. At that time, Asina came quickly and saved her. He picked up the girl and ran with Cian. When he saw the guys with them, he told them to run quickly, but they didn't understand anything. Suddenly, they saw the shark and were terrified that the shark was walking on land. They ran quickly, but they didn't understand anything. Suddenly, they saw the shark and were terrified that the shark was walking on land. They ran quickly, but one of them fell on the ground, and the shark grabbed him. His friend ran to save him, but the shark dragged him on the ground too. Here, Asina hides the rest and runs in front of the shark to lure it away from them. The shark was about to jump on him, but Asina was hanging onto the rocks, and the shark jumped back into the sea. At that time, Cian and Monty rescued him, and they escaped from there quickly. After that, they sat down to rest. Asina asks them what they did to the shark to make it like this. Cian told him that they injected it with crab or lobster genes, and these genes turned the shark into a hybrid between a shark and a crab. Because of this genetic mutation, the shark can now walk on land. At that time, the selfish doctor with glasses saw one of their group bleeding, and he told them it's dangerous for them because the shark will smell the blood and eat them all. Therefore, they should leave him to die and escape. The others disagree, unwilling to be selfish and abandon the poor man. Unfortunately, the shark appears, attacks the injured man, and eats him. They all run away quickly. The shark starts chasing them, and the doctor with glasses falls in front of it. The young girl runs to save him, but the one without mercy throws the girl in front of the shark and runs away, leaving her crying. The doctor, while running, was bleeding, so the shark attacked him instead of the girl and devoured him. Then the shark turns back to the girl. They all panic as the shark rushes towards her. At that moment, the leader arrives with his forces and weapons and starts shooting at the shark. The shark moves quickly and they try to corner it, but it's impossible. Here, Asina throws the bomb he has at the shark. When he tries to throw another to finish it off, the lab chief stops him quickly because he wants to capture the shark alive at any cost. He asks Asina to help, but Asina refuses. At this point, the leader shoots one of their group and turns his weapon towards Cian, forcing Asina to comply. They all board a boat to search for the shark in the sea. When they dive into the water, they discover the shark has killed many people, and their bodies fill the sea. Cian tries to track the shark on the device, and the surprise is that she learns the shark is heading towards the city. Here, the scene we saw at the beginning of the film appears. The shark reaches the shore, jumps over the boy and his father, and enters the city. After the shark enters the city, it causes total destruction and chaos, with everyone fleeing in fear, trying to save themselves. After the destruction, the shark reaches a little girl and approaches her to eat her. But at that moment, Cian activates the signal waves, attracting the shark and making it leave the girl and rush toward her. Then, we see Monty on the boat, putting sauce on a dead fish and casting it into the sea with a fishing line. At that moment, Cian sees videos of the shark in the city, gets terrified, and tells them to pull the line out of the water quickly. But the shark has already arrived, and the hook gets caught in its mouth. The shark begins to pull the boat, and Cian falls unconscious on the boat while the others fall into the water. The shark reaches the island, dragging the boat with Asina still on it. Eventually, the shark enters its cave, bringing the boat with Cian on it. After a while, Cian regains consciousness and finds herself in a cave. She grabs the radio and tries to communicate, but no one responds. When she checks the control device, she finds no signs of the shark. She sends a signal to the shark, realizing it's behind her. The leader arrives with his forces and starts shooting at the shark, knocking it out with a powerful electric shock. At that moment, the lab chief approaches the shark, touching it with a smile. Asina arrives to take Cian and leave, but the lab chief stops them, saying the purpose of all this was to create a biological weapon and that, unfortunately, it must remain a national secret, so they must be killed. He points the gun at them, and the shark begins to wake up. Everyone panics, and the shark attacks the chief and eats him. The others, seeing this, run quickly from the shark, but it kills many of them. At this time, smoke spreads throughout the area. The shark benefits from the lack of visibility and starts killing them. Only one man is left, shooting with a rifle, but the shark stands behind him and eats him too. Meanwhile, Asina wants to kill the shark, takes the control device from Cian and runs, making the shark chase him. Here, Cian takes the control device to make the shark open its mouth, but it's at a high altitude, so Asina can't hit the bomb. The shark was about to eat Cian, and Asina was terrified, but at that moment, Monty arrives and throws a dead fish into the air. When the shark opens its mouth to eat the fish, Asina shoots the bomb into its mouth, and the shark dies from the explosions. After the shark's death, Cian and Monty don't find Asina, realizing he died, and start crying for him as he was a hero who sacrificed himself for them. But Asina surprises them by standing behind them, unharmed. They are overjoyed to see him, and Cian runs to hug him. At the end of the film, we see see a small shark emerge from the big shark's belly. This concludes our movie today, but our awesome films are not over. See you with a new movie.